Welcome to Requirement 7 for the Engineering Merit Badge. Again, this is Tim Brown at the University of Iowa's National Advanced Driving Simulator. For this requirement, we're going to learn more about professional engineers. So, what is a professional engineer, or in this case, a registered professional engineer? A professional engineer is a qualified individual who holds a license to practice engineering in their state. And this registration is specific to a discipline. And so if I'm an industrial engineer and I'm a registered industrial engineer, that doesn't give me a license to do civil engineering work. And so it's specific to each discipline. These registrations are encouraged, but not necessary. And so it depends on the field you're in, how important it is to become a registered professional engineer. So one of the important things to consider with a professional engineer is that only a professional engineer can sign and seal engineering documents that are submitted to public authority or for public and private clients. And so that is an important thing to keep in mind. The other area to keep in mind where it's often important is in the consulting field, where you're making recommendations and sometimes those credentials are needed for that. So what are some of the professional engineering specialties? Did a quick look in prepping for this and pulled off the list of specific exams available for professional engineers. And so as we look through this, there's a long list of the ones that they currently offer tests for, ranging alphabetically from an agricultural and biological engineering to structural engineering. And so I think when we think about which fields are most important, some of the ones that jump out to me as being most important are civil engineers and architectural engineers. They are responsible for big projects that often get submitted for public approval, either the building of roads or buildings, where public approval or a permit is required to build them, and they want those drawings and plans to be vetted and to know that somebody has the appropriate training and knowledge to submit those. Other areas where it's often important, structural engineering, building off of that function with civil and architectural engineers, but also the areas of environmental and nuclear engineering, where the work can have a big public impact. So what about becoming a registered professional engineer? Well, it starts off with earning a 4-year engineering degree, and that is kind of the first step in the process. Once you complete your 4-year engineering degree, you pass a Fundamentals of Engineering exam. And I know how much we all love tests. The Fundamentals of Engineering exam is about 6 hours. And so I know you guys love tests as much as I do. 6 hours is a long time. Once you pass that exam, you then have to complete 4 years of engineering work experience working with a professional engineer. And then once you've done that, you then have to take another exam. This one's even longer at 8 hours, which is the professional engineering exam. And so, those are the steps that are involved. And so as we look at it, I'll chat a little bit from experience in other engineers I know. Personally, for me, in my area of human factors engineering, being a professional engineer wasn't a highly important area. It's not needed in the areas that I typically work in, and so I did not pursue mine. I have other colleagues that graduate with me who are more involved in the civil engineering side of things, and most of them went on to take the Fundamentals of Engineering exam and have gone on to become professional engineers. So I think you really have to think about it as you go through the process. There's a great value in it, and it is kind of the stamp of approval. In my field, having a PhD in engineering is more important for the work I do than being a PE, but there's other areas where having a being a professional engineer would be far superior to just having a PhD without the professional engineering certification. So you really need to look at the field you're in and what you want to do with that degree to determine which way you want to go. With that, I'm going to sign off. You'll want to document this in requirement 7 in your workbook. There's a lot more information available online about the professional engineering process. You can do a Google search for registered professional engineer and it'll take you to the website and you can learn more from there. With that, I will sign off and talk to you next time.